Hi guys, it's Carrie here from Super Vibes. Welcome to your Simply KickASSana Yoga practice for this week as we continue to explore using mudra for meditation and yoga. So today we are going to be working with happiness and goodness. I've had a couple of weeks of just feeling like I'm going down a rabbit hole of all of the heaviness and negativity that's around me and in the world right now. And so I pulled this book out. It's called Hardwiring Happiness. And I come back to this book a lot, and especially when I feel like I'm getting into an overwhelming space of negativity. And what I really love about this book, it's by Rick Hanson. It's called Hardwiring Happiness. What I really love about this book is that he talks about the evolution of our nervous system and the evolution of our brains. And because of how the brain has evolved over time, we tend to be wired to really pay attention to the threats in our world, to the things that are maybe scary or negative. And it really kind of comes from that fight or flight mechanism and survival, back in the days where it was eat or be eaten. and we're still kind of carrying around a lot of that in our nervous systems. So we're naturally wired to always be on the lookout for what might harm us or what might be a threat. And so it's easy when things are difficult to just kind of get into that mode. And it's actually a physiological wiring in the brain that perpetuates that. What's really cool is that we can actually change it to some extent. So we can actually rewire our brains to be hardwired for happiness, to be wired to seek out that which is good. Okay, so this is kind of the concept that we're going to be working with in our practices this week. And the mudra that I've chosen to go along with that is called the Pralambra Mudra. And this is the mudra of benevolence. So it's all about the goodness in life. So what I'm going to have you do first is warm up these hands, just like we've been doing each week. I'm going to have you give yourself a good clap. Take a breath in. Do that a couple more times. Just getting these hands ready for our little mudra practice and meditation. Give the hands a little rub. You know the drill by now. We warm up the palms of the hands, the tops of the hands. We warm up the space between the fingers. Give the hands a vigorous waking up. And then just take a big breath in through the nose, and as you exhale, just close the eyes. Let the hands come just an inch or two apart, and just feel the energy of the hands. Again, this is the energy that we're working with as we move our bodies, as we breathe. And these hands are so, so powerful. So we're coming into our mudra now. We're going to take the palms flat, and for setting up the mudra, we're going to bring the thumbs together and then turn the palms down. So the palms are going to be facing down in this mudra. And then you can just let the hands come to rest down in your lap. And just close the eyes and let the chin just ever so slightly tuck. Let your awareness come to the breath. As you breathe in, feel the expansion of the belly, the rib cage, the chest. As you breathe out, feel that quality of release, that quality of letting go. And as you're breathing here, just open yourself to hear the wishes and prayers of all beings. There's a shared longing to be free and happy. As we start to awaken the heart qualities of devotion and compassion, we can take a moment just to reflect on the goodness of the world. So Rick Hansen, who is the author of this book, Hardwiring Happiness, says that the brain takes its shape from what the mind rests upon. So essentially what we pay attention to, or what we're resting our minds upon, becomes the primary shaper of the brain. So there are some things that naturally grab a person's attention, such as a problem at work, or some physical pain, or a serious worry. But on the whole, we have a lot of influence over where the mind will rest. And that means that we can deliberately prolong and even create the experiences that will shape our brain for the better. And the way that we do this is by letting ourselves shift into a good experience, and then allowing ourselves to be in that experience for a prolonged amount of time. And that can be as little as 10 to 12 seconds. And that lingering in the experience is what starts to reshape the brain. That holding of the awareness, resting the mind on that good experience. So let's take a moment to get comfortable lying on the belly. Okay, so as we come to the belly, make sure that you have the pillow below the chest so that there's lots of room for your face. And we're going to create that mudra, our Pralambra Mudra. And that's actually going to rest on the ground with the elbows wide, and your forehead is just sort of resting on top of those hands. And as you rest here, just start to feel the front of your body supported by the earth. And begin to really connect to the breath. So as you're breathing here, feel the lower back, the middle back, and the upper back expand on the inhale. And as you exhale, just feel the front body surrender a little bit more to that support underneath you. So we're just starting to invite the back body to relax a little bit more and to feel that the breath can expand into those back ribs. And as we exhale, we're just letting some of the tension that we tend to carry around in the back, we're letting that go. And with our mudra, there's this sense of grounding into the benevolence of the earth, the goodness of everything that is presented to us every day in our lives. So as we're resting here in the breath, let your mind just start to wander over maybe a list of things in your life that are good. And if you find the mind wandering over into a space of negativity, just gently but firmly redirect it back to that space of goodness. Let us take just a few more breaths here, reflecting on those things in our lives that are good. And now when you feel ready, bring your awareness to the legs and point the toes. We're going to begin by bending the knees to about 90 degrees and flexing the feet. And then just slowly let the legs rock from side to side. Feel the pelvis moving with the legs. And this very gentle undulation of the spine as you move. Gradually making your way back to center. Go ahead and point the toes and press the shins down into the earth. Feel as you press your shins and the tops of the feet down into the earth, the action in the quadriceps and the upper front legs, and maybe the knees just lift off of the floor a little bit as you press down into the tops of the feet. Now take a deep breath, and then as you exhale, begin to bend the knees and flex the feet, curling the heels toward the buttocks. On your next inhale, point the toes, extend the legs, and press the tops of the feet down into the earth. We're going to do a few of these. Inhale, and then exhale to curl those heels in. And then on the inhale, point the toes and extend the legs. Just 2 more of these. Press into the tops of the feet. Feel the knees lift. Exhale as you curl the heel in. So we're activating our quadriceps, the big muscles in the front upper leg. And we're activating our hamstrings, the big muscles in the upper back of the legs. We're also moving through the ankles and the feet, warming up our feet. Now, the next time you curl the heels in, just bring them to about 90 degrees. And then take a moment to move the ankles very slowly around in circles. Take 2 or 3 circles in each direction. And take a moment to wiggle out the toes as well. So let yourself just feel how good it feels to move these little joints in the feet. And And then point the toes and let the shins relax. Go ahead and bring the hands back so that they're just underneath the shoulders, and hug the elbows into the body. Lengthen through the crown of the head. Feel this gentle lift of the face away from the floor. Roll the shoulders back. Feel your strong spine. Maybe lift a little higher. So we're activating those muscles in the upper back that keep us in our upright posture. Let yourself take 2 more breaths. And then when you're ready, on an exhale, release. Now turn your head to one side and release the arms down by your sides. Take a moment to relax the shoulders and let your awareness come to the space between the shoulder blades. As you're breathing here, bring that breath fully into the space between the shoulder blades. And as you exhale, just feel that quality of release as the breath exits the body. In his book, Rick Hansen talks about mindfulness and how we practice mindfulness by noticing where we are in each given moment. And maybe we even stop and recognize, oh, hey, this is good. And we take a moment to focus on those positive experiences. But then we just kind of move to the next thing. And in his book, he talks about how in order to really rewire the brain, we need to spend a little bit longer focusing on these positive experiences. We need to hold and pause and be in those experiences for an extended period of time to rewire the nervous system for being drawn to the positive, for being drawn to the happy things. So while you're resting here, let yourself feel, what is it like to just be held by the earth, to rest? And maybe you're not completely comfortable, but can you find something about this position that feels good? And as you continue to breathe, let your focus zoom in on the goodness of this experience. And as you're breathing, just let yourself focus in on that goodness for 10 to 12 seconds. Now from here, we're going to come back to our mudra. So coming back to our mudra of benevolence, bring the hands back into position, thumbs together, palms down, elbows wide, and just let the head rest, tucking the chin a little bit, resting the forehead on those thumbs. Point the toes and press the pelvis down into the earth. Curl the tailbone down toward the earth. And then just lift your right leg any amount. Try to keep the hips square. Point the toes and lift from the inner thigh. Take a breath here. As you exhale, release that leg down. And then let's do that on the other side. Inhale, lift the left leg, keeping the hips neutral. Nice long straight leg as the toes point back. Take an exhale, let that go. Then we're going to move right in, taking just a moment here. Feel how it feels just to rest here, just to be that goodness of the release. And then lift that right leg again. Inhale, feel the action as we are working here to strengthen the lower back and the glute muscles. Take a moment to release the leg. Check in with that feeling of goodness in the pause. And then inhale, lift the left leg and release that down. Checking in with the pause. And now lift the right leg again. So we're going to stay here for a couple breaths. And I want you to feel, even in this moment of action, even in this moment of work, where can we find the goodness? Feeling how strong your leg can be. Taking a moment to focus in on that and to feel it, to have the experience. It feels so good to strengthen my body. On an exhale, release the leg. Take a moment to connect to the feeling of rest. Really focus in on how good it can feel to do nothing. And as we hold our focus to this feeling of relaxation, we draw the experience out a little bit longer rather than jumping right to that next action. We let ourselves spend a little bit more time in this space of ease, awareness on the goodness of this experience, to rewire the nervous system and the mind to seek out more of the goodness. Now when you're ready, on an inhale, lift the left leg. And just like we did on the other side, just start to feel the action of lifting that leg. Feel the strength in the body. Even in the effort, can we find the goodness? And can we focus on the good aspects of this posture? And can we hold our focus there? Take another inhale, and on the exhale, release the leg. Let it relax completely. Coming back to this space of ease and rest. We'll slide the arms out from underneath so they're alongside the body. Turn the head the other way so you're resting with one ear to your mat, your shoulders relaxed, and feel the breath moving in the space between the shoulder blades. Again, Rick Hansen says that in order to rewire the brain to be drawn to happiness and positivity, we need to seek out those positive experiences and allow ourselves to linger in the experiences. Let yourself linger here in the goodness of this rest. Breathe. Just focusing on how good it can feel to do less. From here, we're going to press up to the hands and knees and take a few rounds of our cat-cow posture. So you can feel the sensation of, oh, that feels good. Now I'm going to transition to the other good experience, and that feels good. So you're just kind of moving from one good experience to the next. And that's good. It certainly has its purpose. But when we're talking about rewiring the nervous system, we need to spend a little bit more time in those good experiences. So let's start in cat pose. Press your shins down into the mat. Curl the tailbone under. Start to round the spine. Press into those hands. Gentle grip of the fingertips into the earth, and then tuck the chin so you're looking at your knees. Now feel this big, expansive spine here. We're opening the back body, we're contracting the front body. So there's a strength in the front of the body here and an ease in the back of the body. Let yourself linger in this shape for a few breaths, looking for that 10 to 12 second experience. And now from here, we're going to tilt the pelvis back and come into the counter pose here. So tilting the pelvis back, tailbone moving toward the sky, shoulders roll back. We soften the elbows just a little bit so they're not locking. Shoulders roll back, chest shines forward, heart opens, gaze forward. And let's take a few breaths here. Draw the navel in and up. Make sure that there's a little stability through the belly. And let yourself breathe here. Feel the strength in this posture, the strengthening of the back body, the heart open, the solidity of your hands and arms supporting you, the solidity of the shins pressing down to support the legs, the breath moving. So just feel the strength here. Let yourself have this experience. Let's take another big inhale. And then as we exhale, we'll bring the toes together, take the knees a little bit wide. Let's drop into a child's pose. As you slide back, bring your hands into our mudra. So again, thumbs together, palms facing down. We can drop down onto the forearms, let the head rest on the mat, or if you need to bring your head a little higher and bring your elbows back, you can do that. Or you can lengthen your arms all the way so the arms are off of the ground, and just feel this shape. Feel the tops of the feet gently stretching, the hips and knees folding. Feel the shoulders broad on the back, the length of the arms, the support of the forehead, and just feel that third eye space supported, the intuition supported by this shape. And then just let yourself relax into the shape and feel the breath moving between the shoulder blades. This posture of surrender, letting yourself experience how good it feels to really let go. From here, we'll come back up to the hands and knees, and we'll do a little bit of work in our downward facing dog. So we're going to tuck the toes under. Go ahead and lift the knees off of the ground. Keep the knees bent a little bit. Push the hips back. Feel your fingers spread and grip the mat. Soften the elbows. Let the shoulder blades roll onto the back. And then just pedal out one heel at a time. Let the breath move. And then let's invite the action of pause into this. So press the right heel down, let the left knee bend, and just hang out there for a breath or two. Feel the experience of the right heel pressing down to stretch the right calf muscle. Feel the experience of the palms pressing the ground away to create more length in the spine and space in the shoulders. Feel the navel drawing in and up. Feel the power and the strength that we're building even in this pose when it's difficult. We can still let ourselves experience the good that we're creating by being in this pose a little bit longer. From here, let's go ahead and let the knees come back down to the ground. Take a moment to sit up on the knees and just spin the fingers around. Wiggle them. Wiggling out any tension that may have been created by holding the poses a little bit longer today. We'll go ahead and bring the hands back down onto the mat. Taking another downward facing dog, we're going to keep the knees bent just like we did before. Press those hips back and up. Find your fingers gently gripping the mat. Pedal out the heels right and left. Same little play, same little awareness here. Left heel pressing down. We're going to hang out here so the right knee is bent. The left heel is pressing down. We're pushing the ground away. So let yourself drop into breath and drop into this experience. As we press the heel down, we feel this wonderful stretch in the back of the left leg and the calf muscle. As we press the ground away, we feel the strength in the arms, the length in the spine, the strength in the belly. Let's take 2 more breaths here, just feeling this experience. And when you feel ready, we'll come back down to the hands and knees. And let's just take a couple of cat-cows here, softening those elbows, maybe moving the hips a little bit from side to side. We're going to do one more little play here in our downward facing dog. So let's go ahead and find our pose. We'll lift those hips this time. Just straighten the legs any amount. Make sure your spine maintains its length. So if you find that you're rounding your spine, you might need to bend your knees a little bit. What we're going to do here is play with inhaling forward into our plank and exhaling back into our downward facing dog. So let's do this a couple times. Inhale to come forward. Exhale to press it back. One more time. Inhale. And exhale. Now we're going to inhale forward to our plank. Now, if you need some ease, I want you to keep the hips a little bit high today, but if you need some ease, you can always bring the knees down and shift forward for a supported plank. Okay? Or if you want to keep the knees lifted, that's good too. We're going to stay here for a little bit, not a long time, but a little bit. I want you to feel the heels reaching back as the toes press forward. Feel your strong arms as the fingers grip the mat. Soften the elbows. Draw the navel in. Feel your strong belly. Feel the energy moving through the body. Maybe you quiver a little bit here. Find the goodness as you linger in this experience. Feel the strength that we're creating. Maybe smile. Take one more breath. As you exhale, release the knees to the ground. If you haven't done that already, send the hips back. Find your child's pose again. In that mudra, our Pralambra Mudra of Benevolence. Let the forehead come back to rest. Finding that space of ease as we feel the vibration of the work that we've done pulsating through the body. Let yourself experience the sensations of the energy as we rest after that strong plank pose. From here, we're going to come back up to the hands and knees. And we're going to play a little bit with some modified side plank. So let's take the right foot. Actually, I'm going to do the left foot first. Let's take the left foot and just slide it out a little bit so you have a little bit of a kickstand. Your left hand's going to go a little bit wide as well. And just start to kind of shift your weight into the left side of your body. Make sure that left elbow doesn't lock. Take your right leg and extend it back behind you and just start to turn the hips. So you're balancing on your left hand and your left shin. From here, roll the shoulder back so the shoulders stack. And we're just going to inhale to lift the leg, exhale to lower the leg. The right leg can lift and lower. I want you to just feel what it feels like to move in and out of this a little bit. Then we're going to hang out in it. So lift the leg, maybe reach the arm. If you want to take the gaze up to that right thumb, you can do that. So we're in this little modified side plank. Let yourself feel the rooting down of the left hand and the left shin and the reach of the right hand and the right heel. Your strong belly holding you steady. The breath moving, the balance. All the goodness that we're creating in the body through the effort in this pose. Letting the breath create some ease. Now when you're ready, we're going to try to keep that right leg lifted and just bring the right hand down and then close the hips so that they're stacked. So that right leg is reaching back behind you with the foot flexed. The left hand is going to walk forward. So you might stay right here, Or if you want a little bit more, you can reach that left hand forward and just take the gaze out in front of you. Find the balance as you strengthen through the belly. And feel how you're reaching in two opposite directions with the left hand and the right heel, and you're rooting down with the right hand and the left shin. Feel your strong belly supporting you, stable balance. Take a big inhale, and then on your exhale, release the hand, release the leg. Take a moment to drop back into a child's pose. This time, letting the elbows greet the mat, letting the wrists and fingers wiggle and spin. Now from here, we're going to come back up and do the same thing on the other side. So we're going to make our kickstand first by taking the right foot, just lift it up, turn it out, and press that shin down. Then your right hand's going to go a little bit wider and start to shift the weight into the right side. Left hand's going to come to the hip, start to open up the hip, and you can straighten that top leg. Now from here, we're going to reach that left arm up. Maybe the gaze turns toward the left hand. We lift that left leg. So let yourself again lift and lower a couple of times, feeling the experience of moving in and out of this. And then we'll lift and hold. So feel your right shin press down, your right hand gently gripping the mat, right shoulder rolling onto the back. Feel the reach through the left heel, the left hand, the gaze lifted. Draw the navel in. Feel the stability that's created by the strength in your belly. And let your awareness linger on the power of this experience. The goodness that is created when we practice these strong postures. We'll take one more breath here. Then on the exhale, the left hand comes down. We close the hips. The left leg is reaching back. The right shin is rooting down. We can walk those right fingertips forward so you can stay here, or if you want more, you just reach the right arm. So the fingers on the right hand and the heel of the left foot are reaching in two opposite directions. The right shin and the left hand are your roots. We're drawing that navel in for stability, and we're feeling the strength of this experience. Let's take one more big breath. And then as we exhale, float the hand, float the leg. Big, wide knees for this child's pose. So let the knees be about as wide as your mat. Draw the belly in as you drop the hips back any amount. Find your mudra. Let the forearms relax and drop the head. So we're a little higher. This is also sometimes called frog pose. So we're a little higher here. I want you to press down into your hands and your forearms. Roll the shoulders back. Take the gaze forward. And then find the breath. Close the eyes. Take a moment to feel yourself resting in this slightly different shape. Still with a little bit of effort in the forearms and the hands, and the ease in the hips and the legs. We're going to take 3 more breaths in this shape. Where is the goodness in this shape for you? And how can you hold your focus, letting your focus linger in the goodness of this experience as we rewire our brains for joy. Now, whenever you're ready, we're going to come back up to the hands and knees. We're going to mermaid the legs, so take the legs over to one side. Lengthen the legs out in front of you. Let's take a moment to find our staff pose, just pressing the palms down into the earth, lifting up through the heart, rolling the shoulders back, reaching through the heels, drawing the toes back. Nice long neck. From here, we're going to reach the arms forward. Lift the heart. Imagine you're lifting all of your worries and cares off and just flick them away. Flick those fingers. Draw the navel in. Point the toes. Start to round a little bit so you're rolling down to lie on your back. Rolling down vertebrae by vertebrae. Then reach the arms back behind you. Feel yourself wiggle and stretch here. So reaching through fingers, through heels. We're going to find that 10 to 12 second lingering that Rick Hansen talks about for rewiring. I want you to hold your focus right here to the experience of creating space in the body as you wiggle your heels and your fingers in two opposite directions. As you move the rib cage and the pelvis away from one another, creating length in this body. Keep the breath moving, keep wiggling, keep stretching. Good, and then on your next exhale, go ahead and hug your knees. Bring both knees in toward you. Rock a little bit from side to side. Now, we're going to create this same little shape underneath the low back or the sacrum. So lift find that little shape underneath your pelvis, and then just let your pelvis sort of rest in the cradle of that shape that you've created. Now you're going to reach both of your legs up in the air. So if you have any lower back issues, you might find that you want to bend the knees to about 90 degrees. And I'll start the demo that way. So what we're going to do is on the inhale, you're going to tap or lower the right leg. And on your exhale, you're going to bring it back up. And you're going to do the same thing on the other side. Inhale. Exhale. So if the knees are bent, you'll tap that heel. If the legs are straight, you're going to lower halfway. One side and then the other. And we're using our mudra of benevolence to create some stability in the pelvis and protect the lower back. I want you to draw the navel center in, and that's going to help to support the spine as well. And just keep switching one side and then the other, feeling the strength in the core that we're building here with these leg switches. So the benevolence, the goodness of this action, even though it's hard, even though it's work, where's the good? We're creating strength. Feel how strong you are. Keep switching. Linger in this experience. Get Get yourself even on both sides. Wiggle the arms out from underneath you. Reach the arms back behind you. Take another big stretch. And then on your exhale, hug both knees into the body. Fold the legs into the body as you fold at the knees, at the hips. Rock a little bit from side to side. Bring your hands on your kneecaps and find some circles. Make your way to lying flat on your back. You're welcome to bring a pillow underneath those knees if that feels appropriate for you. The arms are going to rest with our mudra on the belly. So the thumbs kind of move right across that navel center. Let the elbows rest on the ground. And just take a moment to start to feel the body sinking into that support underneath you. The legs getting heavier. The arms relaxing. Inviting a softness into the toes and the fingers. Feeling the breath gently move underneath those hands. As you inhale, feel the belly get round. And as you exhale, feel the navel draw in and soften. Feel your pelvis held by the earth as you relax the muscles around the pelvis. Feel your long spine, vertebrae by vertebrae, just surrendering to the earth. Shoulder blades relaxed, head held. And inviting that softness and ease into the features of your face. Breath by breath, letting yourself relax. Letting yourself find the experience of ease. And allowing your awareness to linger in the goodness of this experience. Anytime you find your mind wandering, gently but firmly bring your awareness back to the goodness of this experience. Healing the breath, move in and out. Healing the body, rest. And the mind gently hovering on the goodness of this experience. Hansen says, if we can allow ourselves to linger in those mindful moments, those positive experiences for 10 to 12 seconds, even 10 to goes a long way to hardwiring our brains for happiness. You're welcome to stay right where you are as we move into our final meditation. If you're comfortable, let yourself linger in this shape. If you'd like to make your way to seated for our closing today, gently bend the knees and roll over to one side. Take a moment there to breathe, to be, to experience that fetal position. And then press yourself up to a comfortable seat. If you're staying where you are, keep the mudra at the belly. And if you're coming to a seat, find your mudra. Just let the hands rest, palms down. Gently bowing the head, coming back into our Pralambra Mudra, the mudra of benevolence. I'm just going to read from Rick Hanson's book, Hardwiring Happiness. He talks about how the brain wires itself and takes shape from what the mind rests upon. If we keep resting our minds on self-criticism, worries, grumbling about others, hurts, and stress, then our brains will be shaped into greater reactivity, vulnerability to anxiety and depression, a narrow focus on threats and losses, and inclinations toward anger, sadness, and guilt. On the other hand, if we keep resting our minds on good events and conditions, pleasant feelings, the things we accomplish in a day, physical pleasures, and our good intentions and qualities, then over time, our brains take a different shape. A shape with strength and resilience hardwired in. A shape that creates a realistically optimistic outlook, a positive mood, and a sense of self-worth. If we start taking in the good right now, focusing on a positive experience, and letting ourselves linger in those positive experiences so that we can really enjoy them, then we can begin to hardwire our minds and our hearts for happiness. Thank you so much for taking the time to be here with me today. May we be happy and free. Namaste.